Hey there, it's the real Jason Duncan. I've got a special announcement for you really quick. I am hosting the Exit Lifestyle Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, February 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 2022. You don't want to miss it. Go to theexitlifestyle.com to learn more.
Go and talk to some people, right?
Action.
And take some action. And like for everybody listening, because when I know what happens when guests share things are going to come up, as I mentioned. It's going to evoke some emotion inside of people. You know what's going to come up? I don't know who to call, right? I don't know what to say. I don't want to look like a fool. My ego, okay, cool, man, awesome. What else you got? Start calling people. Hey, man, listen, this is what's up. Can you help me? That word, can you help me, is a very powerful word. In sales, in magic, in just everything. Hey, can you help me?
People want to help each other.
Most people, no, dude. And who's going to say that? If you come with authenticity, hey, Jason, listen, this is where I'm at. I know we just met, or I know you for a while. Can you help me? What do you need, Joe? That they may give you one thing that could literally change the trajectory of everything.
In today's ultra-competitive business world, being a successful entrepreneur or business owner can be very challenging. Fortunately, contemporary times have blessed us with resources for tackling those challenges and getting us to success more quickly than we could have imagined. Welcome to The Root of All Success with the real Jason Duncan, a podcast that explores how the world's most powerful entrepreneurs grow incredible companies. This podcast looks at the 5 keys to unlocking success as an entrepreneur. A successful educator turned entrepreneur, Jason's mission is to use his gifts of teaching and leadership to help others get the results they want out of life. Join Jason every week and learn the keys to grow a truly successful business.
Welcome back to The Root of All Success. I'm the real Jason Duncan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. And you're going to want to see this today. This guest today is amazing, and we're still recording here at the Nashville Standard right here. This is 18,000 square feet of Southern sophistication and style. Jay, my guest today, I'll introduce in a minute. We had dinner here last night. It's a fantastic place. If you ever come to Nashville, you got to come look me up, and I got to bring you here to the Standard. We got to hang out. So this is actually our last day of recording here at the Standard for a while. We're going to move to a new studio after today's recording, but I'm glad that you're watching. If you're not watching and you're listening to this on any of the podcast players, I also appreciate you listening. And I know most people listen on the podcast players, whether you're driving to work or you're walking the dog, you're working out. Thank you so much. And I know a lot of you, you're friends of mine, and you tell me you listen and you like the show. So thank you so much for subscribing. And every review we've ever gotten on the show so far is a 5-star review. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for reviewing us so highly. Because the more reviews we get, the more Apple and Stitcher and Spotify put us at the top of their list. That way more people can find the show. So make sure you go to therootofallsuccess.com, find where you can go, whatever podcast player you listen. Give us a good rating and review. I would appreciate that very, very much. And also a big shout out to C-Suite Radio Network, who syndicates us and puts us out on all of the different players. So thank you, C-Suite, for you guys for doing that. So let me introduce today's guest. Today's guest is JJ. He is an amazing guy. We had such a fun time last night getting to know each other. We met, this is a cool story, we met through Instagram, and that's why I love Instagram as a platform. I'm going to let him give his handle in a minute, but mine's the real Jason Duncan. You can find me there on Instagram. But we met, connected. He started following me. I started following him. We just kind of watch each other. And this guy has 1 million followers on Instagram, has a great Instagram game. You got to go find him, and he'll give his handle in a minute for you to know how to get in touch with him. But he started he's an international speaker. He's been traveling 30 countries, a bunch of countries. We'll talk about where he's gone, how he did it. And in 2009, he leveraged YouTube to get over 57 million views on his channel. And then he took that and he built a PR agency called Ace of Spades. He helps people with their personal brand be seen as the #1 in the space. He's got a great backstory, and then what he's doing now, he flew in all the way from Miami to be here in Nashville with us, but what he's doing now with Ace of Spades and how he's helping people build their brands is phenomenal. So you as an entrepreneur listening to this, whether or not you have a current personal brand, today's story of success with Jay is going to be something you don't want to miss. So thank you for being here, and let me welcome Jay. Thank you for being
here. Good morning. How you doing, man? Good to see you, man. Thank you for letting me come and be part of your community, your people. Dude, this place is awesome, man. Like, this is like, when I feel like, this is how I know I feel like a man. When I sit here, I'm in this kind of place. We had steaks last night. We had cigars. I'm like, I made it.
It's a little different than Miami, right?
Listen, man, Miami is a completely different world, you know?
Yeah.
But like, this is what's great, you know, we connect, and this is what's great about the world. Like now, you know, you take a plane, you can meet people and be in a whole different world, a whole different community. It's a 2 hours flight. And, you know, we connected last night, and, you know, it was great to hear your story and why you got into this, what actually made you come alive with this. And relationships are really the currency, isn't it?
It is. Relationships and are the most valuable currency, as you said, and your reputation is what makes that happen. And so
exactly.
You've got a good reputation on Instagram, out there on YouTube, so that's how we met. But you obviously don't have a Miami accent.
Yeah.
Your accent's
people are like, hang on a second, maybe he has that Miami sort of look, but where's the accent? It's Australian. So I born in Australia, you know, just wanted to explore the world, you know. Sometimes, and you know, and let me just share something too, Jason. I'm going to share some things today, and it's going to bring up some emotion from some of the guests, because I'm going to be loud, but I'm going to be passionate about it. But like, I feel like someone has to, and I feel like maybe I can get away with it because I've got the accent. So
you get, I can only imagine, because I've not traveled internationally over to Europe and things like you've traveled in so many different countries. I can only imagine that the American accent in other places gets the same kind of idea. I don't only imagine that happens, but to hear Australian accents or Irish or English accents here in America, it always people, I want to listen to that. I want to listen to that.
Dude, I still use the Australian accent to get away with things all the time. They're like, "Are you not from here?" "No, I just came to America like 5 weeks ago." "Oh, that's okay. He can say that." And I'm like, "You suckers."
But you've been here a long time.
2017, you know. Well, you know, it's a long time. It does feel like a long time, actually. You know, I really feel like, I was saying this to someone the other day, I feel like I understand enough about America and how general Americans think, and the culture and the vibe, you know, of how people just do business and how they live their life. Like,
well, it's not a ton different than Australia, I would imagine. I mean, now, of course, the world's a little different today, but generally speaking, the cultures are got to be kind of the same, wouldn't you? Is that right?
Well, it's a first world country, but it's a completely different ideal. You know, I came here because I wanted to be in the land of opportunity, which I still think America is the #1 place. You know, I put a post on my Instagram talking about how I struggled to get here, but I did that because I knew what was going to happen, and the people and the careers and the cash and just the opportunities I could have by coming to this country, because you really can come here and do whatever you want. You know, in Australia, we have a huge problem it was made in New Zealand. It's called a tall poppy syndrome. Do you know what this is?
No.
Tall poppy syndrome is where in New Zealand it's in a poppy field. You know, poppy's the flower, right?
Right.
And there is a story of the poppy, 2 poppies. One poppy's taller, one poppy's smaller. And the little poppy says to the big poppy, "Hey, one day I want to grow up to be as tall and as big as you, and I'm going to be taller than you." And all the guys taller than him said, "Yeah, you can do it. You can make it. Yeah, we'll support you." Whatever happened, and this little poppy shot up. He grew really quickly, and they hated his success, so they cut the stem down. And a lot in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand culture, it's called the tall poppy syndrome, where people don't want you to really be taller and bigger than them. They want you to be level. Where in America, it's like, if you want to start a bakery, hey man, you can do it. Like, work hard, do it, whatever you need, success. In Australia, it's not like that. They sort of tend to get jealous and sort of pull you down. They don't want you to live that land of opportunity, go for your dreams life. It's like, it's called the "you've done enough." And I call it, like, it's, in my way I bring it out to people, it's like, yeah, man, if you make 50 grand a year, we get health insurance, you have a boat, you have a car, you have a missus, you have a wife, it's enough. It's enough mentality. And I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, and I always felt like you throw ideas at people, and if you're in a culture that's in that 50 grand kind of mindset, that enough is enough, how are you expected to like grow? You tend to question yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, there's a lot of that enough concept out there, and I don't want to get too political about it, but I don't like the concept of enough, because on one hand, it is the opposite. A lot of people see it as the opposite of greed. So you've got this pendulum. On one side, it's greed, and the other side is enough. But the reality is, if you're just wanting enough, it's kind of selfish. I just want enough for me. I don't care about you. I just want enough for me. But the reality, I want to build generational wealth.
Yeah.
Because I don't want just enough for me. I want enough for me and my family, my family's family, my community, my world.
Yeah.
So I wonder why Australia and UK and New Zealand, I wonder why they're like that. I'm not expecting you know the exact answer, but it is really interesting because I've never heard that before.
Yeah, man, tall poppy syndrome. There'll be people listening that will comment and be like, I've heard of that. And, you know, and I can speak so passionately about it because when I was traveling doing YouTube and as a speaker, a lot of the times I'd fly back home to see parents, and like I'd still sometimes have my base. I would fly to Asia, do my event, stay there for 2 weeks, explore, travel, see if I liked the place to do business. But I would always come back to Australia, and then there was a time where I moved over to Asia. But every time I would be in Asia, like Singapore or Vietnam or Thailand, Macau, like Hong Kong, Tokyo, your mind just goes, oh my gosh, like Australia is like 10 years behind, right? And it's not to talk poorly about Australia. Like we have amazing things. We have health insurance. We're very laid back, down to earth mentality. We don't get caught up in the things Americans get caught up in, and we're very safe. We don't have a gun problem because that was extinguished in, I think, 1976 by John Howard. I think it was 76, when someone came in, shot a school, he said, that's it, next, guns out, right? And we're not going to talk about the gun problem, but we don't have the issues a lot of Americans are coming today, you know? Yeah. I'd come back to Australia, Jason, and I was like, I love it, but this is not where I'm going to shine. Like, and I'm a big believer of like, listen, you can't change your environment, like you could only change yourself. I can't change the country. So if it's not working, there's 196 of them. That's just, and I know this because I was like, I work with YouTube, and they gave me the stats in my reports one day. And Google was telling me, you know how many countries you've been seeing it? I'm like, 40? They're like, 160. I said, firstly, is there even 160 countries?
Yeah, no, how
like,
many
you mean
are there?
cities? No. You know, I work with Google. Like, I was a big player in YouTube at the time. You have a great relationship. When you're making them that much money, you get a phone call.
Yeah.
You know? So I had an account rep, and she said, you know how many countries you're in, Jay, your channel? I said, no. She said, your face is in 160 countries. I said, wow. So what I realized with that is there's a lot of countries that if something's not working for you, if you're not finding maybe your partner in one country, jump. Like no one said you can't go.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity out there anywhere.
Dude, there's Europe, you got your continent, you got Europe, you got Asia, you got America, you got an island. Like, who's stopping you?
Well, so we're glad that you're here on this show to talk about that story. So Australia, come to the U.S. after stops in many countries along the way.
America was the last.
Yes.
Yeah.
And best.
And
Save
best,
the best for last.
Save the best for last.
It's the land of opportunity. I know, in spite of the fact of what we've been going through over the last couple of years, it's still the land of opportunity. Success can happen for anybody. And it's not going to happen for enough mentality people. You know, if you've got the enough mentality, it's not going to happen for you.
You'll be with enough mentality people.
Exactly.
And then, you know, and look, there's nothing wrong with making $50,000 a year for some people. For me, it's not going to work, right? You know, I know some people may go, that's disgusting, you'd even say that, because it's terrible how much that is. I said, look, some people are very good at making 75 a year with their kids. Dude, I don't know how they feel, and if they're content, right? Whatever. But I know for me, what I want to do and where I want to go, we need cash to go create those choices. And to live the life that I want.
It's about opportunities. It's about impact. It's about creating opportunities for other people.
Yeah.
Greed is the worst side of the attitude that people are perceiving in you, but that's not what you're saying. It's not about greed. It's not about consumption. And like the parable about the rich person, Jesus talked about the rich person who had a lot of grain, so he built more barns, put the grain in, built more
Right.
barns. It's like you're not making an impact. You're just greedy, holding on to it, and he was reprimanded for that. So let me ask.
Jason, you know, if I can jump in, it's sometimes very much, and this is the same, even the space that I play today, it's very much black and white, like yin and yang, like it's like poor or greed. There's never, I don't know, I feel like people, it's like this pendulum of like this way or this way.
Yeah.
It's like, you're right, like it's not. Like who's infusing people's mindsets with that, you know? Like, I remember people even talking about it. If you say, hey, I'm really happy I did, you know, I made my first $10,000 day. Very few people are, congratulations. Oh, look at you. Look how selfish you are. Look how full of yourself you are. Hey man, listen, congratulations on that. Someone drives down the street in a Lamborghini. What do a lot of people do?
They
Look at this guy,
jerk.
I'm gonna scratch the car. This guy's full of himself. What about, hey man, congratulations. I remember seeing this guy in Singapore, right? Singapore, Asia money is like they want to show it off, right? Yeah. It's like sort of the Chinese mentality.
Crazy rich Asians, right?
Crazy rich Asians, dude. Dude, and I'm Asian too, so I'm allowed to, just so everybody knows, I'm Asian, right? So people are like, well, you know, I'm Sri Lankan, so that's part of Asia. So in Asia money, it's like not American. Asian money is different. I don't know how to explain.
Well, it's like Middle Eastern money, and it's so
when I was in
different.
Dubai, people think Americans are rich. They are. Dubai, they look at you like that's a Monday for me.
It is so
like
different.
I spend that on a Monday between 9 and 10:30. You spend that over the week at don't even talk to me. But the point of the story is like in Asia when I was there was a guy with it was one of those brand new Lamborghini Aventadors or something, one of those cars. And I went up to him and said, hey man, congratulations on your success. Right? And he was, you know, had the decked out glasses, but I felt I should say that because I feel like everybody else, no one gets that enough. Like he's done something, you know? Why do we always have to go to think it's drugs or think it's something bad? Maybe he's just worked his ass off and he just did a massive deal and he's taken 2 weeks to close that and he's been building the relationship. But no, a lot of people are just trained to go, he was given it, father, drug money. Hang on a second, dude.
Yeah, the mindset of it's really it's a jealousy mindset. It's envy. It's a mindset.
Yeah,
it's the enough
agreed.
mindset.
Yeah.
You've got more than enough.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Who wrote the book, The Millionaire Mindset? People will know as soon as I say that. They're like, oh, Jason, you should know that. It's on my nightstand table. I've read it, but he tells a story. He tells a story in the book very similar to what you just told
Right.
about. He had made it. You know,
Right.
he had owned, I think, gyms, and he had made a lot of money in gyms. But he was still very connected to his community and volunteer work, and he bought a very nice Jaguar at the time. This is back, I think, early 90s, late 80s. And he was delivering, this is the story, he was delivering packages of food Thanksgiving week into a low, depressed, underserved area. And when he came back to his new Jag, it was scratched. And he's thinking, well, I'm here helping. What? And he said that this idea is you must have done something wrong. You're greedy. You're a jerk. You're a dick. You know. But no, that's not what it is. So let's talk about the success mindset because that's what you have. That's what I have. That's what our listeners have because they are success mindset oriented people. Not enough. They want more, not for themselves, but to make impact. So let me ask you this. As an entrepreneur, because this show is all about successful entrepreneurs, how you create it. How did you get your start as an entrepreneur?
People are going to either believe this or not. So my career started as a magician.
Yeah, you stole my pen last night.
I did, yeah, exactly. Did I give it back? So I started my career as not a musician, M-U-M-A, magician. And I wanted to play pro soccer. Like it was between professional soccer or football, right? We call it soccer, or entertainment. And, you know, when I was 5 years old, I remember, you know, the standard story, you get shown a trick by your uncle. You know, every uncle knows a good magic trick. I don't know where.
You gotta do the finger.
Yeah, look, whether it's bad or good, I got shown this trick and it just intrigued me. It was a hook. Then from 5 till about 13, I was like, I'm all in for soccer. Like I wanted to be a pro. Was about to get offered some kind of, in Australia at the time, we weren't really a big sports soccer team. We were getting there. They were saying, listen, if you keep playing like this as a right wing, you'll be in juniors, you'll play pro. But then I had to make a decision between like soccer and entertainment, and I was like, I just felt there's more like fun with entertainment. I was like, well, I can travel, there was the world, right? I was like, soccer, but I want to field, but magic, I'm with people, I'm on stage, like I'm in the spotlight, right? So I chose being a magician, and then when at 15, I saw David. Remember David Blaine?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so the viewers, David Blaine was this street magician that I believe he did it. What he did super well is Copperfield was the guy with the white shirt and the model and the boxers and big, beautiful. But David took the magic to the people. He took it to the street. That was the tagline. And he turned the camera from him to them. And there's a lot of things that I learned watching that. When was that, 15, 2004, 2003, right? That I've understood today. Like, it's about not the performer or not the star or you. It's about the guest. It's about the people. So he turned it back on the people of the reaction. So when people are watching the show, they're like, I'm entertained by the reaction, and I want to feel what that's like. So I started learning magic tricks, man, and I went all in. I went all in of learning how to do card tricks, coin tricks. You're in your room, you come home. At the time we were just getting DVDs, so you put the DVD in, you're practicing the move over and over and over again. And I tell people, I was just the kid that learned it longer than you. Like, some guys do piano, some guys learn how to surf, some guys learn how to code. I was the magic guy. That's it. There was no, because I had a gift. No, it's just, I just loved it. I was super passionate about it. All you do every day. And you're you're playing with cards, And that skyrocketed my career to 30 countries, 57 million views. I work with we call it the $1 billion companies, or the Fortune 100, right? I work with the biggest and the best, and I saw the best parties in the world, and I brought an experience to an event that people, doesn't matter, black, white, Asian or Caucasian, gay or straight, 15 or 55, from India to Indianapolis, doesn't matter. When you're in a room and you're making people just in wonder, it brings people together.
Yeah.
They would use, I don't understand, I was used really as a marketing ploy, but no one wants to use it like that. You get an entertainer to elevate the room, to bring people together so people have an experience. That's what it is. But I was really paid a lot of money to bring countries together. There'd be sometimes 5 countries in a room, and the Arabs would be here, the Indians would be here, the Europeans would be here. No one knows where the hell I'm from, right? They're like, who is this Indian Ricky Martin dude from, at the time. Still had good hair at the time too. But then they would use me on stage, and I would get booked for a lot of global Asian events because they need someone to bring them together. Because there's a lot of, throughout the world, there's bombings in one country, politics in another. So let's bring Jay in, let's get him to do a show and bring people together. So that was a move for me for, 15 years, man. So
did you, with the magic, because that is a technical job. You're the technician, you're doing it kind of like a lawyer or a CPA.
Highly skilled.
So highly skilled in one area.
Yeah.
Did you build a business around that, or was it more just performance and you just continue to capitalize on your ability to do it, or did you build a business around that?
Listen, I would love to say, from 15 I had the entrepreneurial mindset. No, that would be a lie. There's no need to lie. I would just knew, now I understand what I did. I just knew how to get in front of people and keep people's attention, and then how to promote, self-promote. Because in Australia, we didn't have agents. We didn't really have, Americans, you have managers and everything. There's a lot of people who want part of the deal or part of you. It was very much solo. What do you do when you're 16 and you want to get gigs as a magician? There's no it's all self. You're getting business cards printed out. You're doing restaurant magic to get your name out there. You're trying to get on TV because TV's cool. So it was very much how do I get more people to see me? And then I realized people weren't paying me for the magic tricks. They were paying me for the personality.
Yeah.
Right. And I talk about this all the time. People aren't buying your product, Jason. They're buying you. Period. Right? If we asked everybody right now, why do you watch the show? They'd be like, well, we have good guests, but deep down, they like Jason Duncan. They're not watching this because, you may have a good guest and that's going to be interesting, but they like you for you. They're giving you the 5 stars because of really you. And when people can get that into the mindset of 2022 of where things are going, it's like, oh, that makes sense now, right? And you know, you look at people that you admire or you look up to, a lot of these people, you're buying things from them, you're listening to them. Are they the expert? Yes and no, but more so that you're listening to them because you like them, that you connect with them on something.
Yeah.
So when they bring out a book, they bring out a perfume line, they bring out a speaking tour, right? I'm not sure if you've told your guests about what you're doing coming up, you know, but when you get that out there, people are going to be part of that because, dude, I like the guy, bam, you know.
Well, and you've obviously honed that personality, and you light up a room, and
Right.
you know, we first engaged through
Right.
Instagram,
Right.
which can be very fake in so many ways. But after spending a very long evening over dinner and drinks last night, it's like you are the guy that's the same guy on Instagram. You're the same guy.
Yeah, you know, because for me, you know, this is what I like about Australia, actually. We're very down to earth and very authentic. We don't get caught up in the smoke and whistles of, and I lived in LA for 2.5 years. We don't get caught up in the, you know, the chains and the, you know, like turn it up and like just the, we call it the fake it till you make it thing. Like, no, it's, you know, we're just very raw, you know, and the one thing I've realized, Jason, traveling so much by myself for a long time, you know, because I would go to, you know, I'd fly to Thailand, do an event, you know, and I'm not going back home. Like, I'm traveling by myself. I'm not married and have a girlfriend. Like, I was very much the kid, the magic guy, like looking around, okay, where can I go? Where can I eat? All you have is your confidence and all you have is yourself. You can't fake it by when you're yourself. Like, you have to be, you might as well be you because you don't have anything to base it off. Like, you can't go out and fake, you're in a country. Like, just be your natural, fun self, because that's what's going to attract the right people, in my opinion. And, you know, in today's day, people are so guarded now because they've been burnt, they don't know who to trust anymore. So like that authenticity will shine through.
So when did you decide to move from magic into public relations?
When the pandemic happened, yeah. Yeah,
Really?
It's just new, man. Yeah, it's brand, like PR it's brand new. You know, I was speaking, so I went from magic to speaking to, I worked on TV and I ran a nightclub, and we can talk about all these things in the interim because I was, you know, trying to figure out where I was meant to be. I was living in Asia. I wasn't really happy. I was going back to Australia and I was constantly thinking, do I have to stay here? And I was always trying to find a new country to go and maybe shine in, you know? And I was speaking as well with the magic because I would do the magic and I was like, well, this guy on stage is speaking, getting way more money than me, and then also like getting way more impact, and he can move people. And I was like, I could do that. Like, that guy can do it, I can do it, you know? So I was speaking, but I wasn't happy speaking because when you're speaking to a corporation, they engage with you, they like you, they listen, but they don't take action. They can't, you know, it's hard for them because it's hierarchy, you know? And I was doing it, and I think the biggest thing for me for so long, Jason, was like, I was pushing something uphill, trying to push something uphill, and it wasn't working. And I thought as an entrepreneur, that's what you have to do. Like, you gotta struggle, right? Dude, when the pandemic happened and I couldn't do that anymore, literally different lane, boom. Like, boom. Like,
That happened to so many people.
no, but for
So
me,
many
I
people.
know, but man, like it's amazing because you think, you get told that you have to struggle for 10 years when you're building something. Well, you know, but, this is my own insecurity and ego and thought process, right? But my limiting belief, I'm struggling, okay, this is what I have to do. I have to keep making phone calls. And I was nudging things. It just wasn't working. And I was like, what's wrong with me? And you know, the problem worse is you see other dudes come in to the game, you're like, how is he doing it? Like, well, I'm way better than him, better talented, more skillful, better promotion, like something, you know. And then immediately when the pandemic happened and I couldn't do that anymore, I like, what can I control? Who do I really want to serve and help? And who can I really like shine? We just turned on the PR for personal branding and helping people get in the media. It just went to like 0 to 150%. Same work ethic, same me, same really skill set, and now I'm like in my zone. I'm in play, you know.
So you started, yeah, that's exactly, I didn't know that. And last night, you know, I was telling you, I'm normally more inquisitive when I meet people over dinner, but I purposefully didn't ask a lot of questions last night because I wanted to wait until the show. I wanted to discover, so I obviously didn't know that. Now I'm going to guess that Ace of Spades, your agency, is now I know why you named it Ace of Spades because of cards.
Yeah.
Cards are
being the number one. Because when you're in a poker game, right?
That's it.
You got an Ace of Spades, people are, oh, yo, and you drop that, you confident, you know?
That's great.
Yeah.
So you started that after, obviously, here in the last couple of years because of the pandemic, in Miami? And that's where you're based, or is it more?
I was in LA, and I was in LA because I was trying to also do TV hosting too. Like, you know, when you go to Los Angeles, I went to LA because of like the entertainment aspect. I'm like, well, let me be based in LA. This is, I think I mentioned to you this last night, like how back before the pandemic, in the space that I play, LA, New York was the place. Like you can't, Sydney, you don't want to be in Sydney. You need to be in America, like in the scene of the scene to at least have the most opportunity. So I was living in LA, I was trying to get my name out there, doing TV and doing whatever I could, right, as you do in LA. And then when the pandemic happened, I thought, typical Australian me, like I thought it was going to be a phase. You know when I remember I was in Vegas speaking March, was it 12th or 13th? And I was speaking to 500 event planners in Vegas, right? The next day they called New York City, they said shut it down. And I thought it was gonna be like a week thing. And then it finished up, and then I was living in LA, and it started getting worse, the riots, and I said, dude, I'm out. Like, this mask thing is getting too out of hand. And someone's like, have you ever thought of Florida? And I said, really? Like, no. Like, I know of Florida, but I'm not even present to Florida. Because when you come to America, New York, Miami, New York, LA, New York, LA, you don't think of, well, let me go to Boca Raton, you know what I mean? Or Brickell in Miami. No. So someone's like, dude, Florida is not shutting down. They don't want you to even wear clothes. I'm like, dude, all right. Okay, the gateway to Latin America. Okay, cool. So I came in April 2021. Yeah, man. And like, you know, I was there, and it just started to shine, you know, and now it's everyone from everywhere in the world is trying to come. I think it's the #1 city in the world to live. First, I believe that. And I really believe that because of from what's available. Like, I know Nashville's amazing, and you hear, but from the lifestyle to the people to the opportunities, it's just open and staying open. And the amount of new people from around the world that are trying to get in, like the rents are going up like crazy. Properties like boom, 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 boom.
Well, talk to me about Ace of Spades. So tell me about the agency, what you specialize in, and how you do. What's your unique value proposition? Yeah,
well, what I realized getting into this, where I'm noticing the marketing world is, and people are going, is like people are wanting to know the person behind the product and the brand. Like, most people want to get to know, I like this juice, but who are the owners behind the juice? What do they stand for? What do they care for, right? Buyers now have so many more decisions. They're educated buyers now. They know that, like, there isn't 3 things to choose from. You know what I mean? Like, there's too many options now. So now, how else do you, from a customer psychology, buying power, how do you get people and like get them to listen to you? Well, it's the brand, it's the person, really. So I realized that people now, throughout the pandemic, people are so more connected now. So people now need to sell themselves. People have been hiding behind like sometimes a product for so long. Now they're like, hey man, I want to get to know the guy behind that. Yeah, I'm going to buy a candle, right? I've got the money. I'm a qualified buyer. I need a candle. So I've got 5 choices. Before I invest this money into a candle, maybe a candle's a bad example, right? But it could be anything. It could be a coach. Could be especially a realtor. Like, realtor's my perfect case study example. Like, how many realtors in Miami? I have to sell my house. I want some money for next year. I'm done. I need some cash. I want to sell it. Who am I going to give my business to? There are 5 realtors in front of me. Everyone's qualified to help me sell it. Well, that's what they say. So who am I choosing? So, to cut a long story short, I built this agency because I realized people need to grow their personal brand. And people, the ones that understand, it's like a light bulb's gone off and they're like, oh, wow, I get it now. I understand, and when I build this, I can just exponentially grow anything I want to grow. And like whether you like Grant Cardone or not like Grant Cardone, just look at from an outer's perspective. Don't look at the man or his character or whatever you feel with. Look at what he's done from a personal branding. He's raising, money now, all driven on his personal brand.
Yeah.
He's not even the best he's not even a real estate really guy, right? But he's built all this income and impact from growing people to know him. Look at other people that you know. Look at some of the biggest celebrities. Like George Clooney started a tequila brand. He ain't a tequila guy. He's got nothing to do with it. He's an actor. He's from, what's the show? ER, He's a doctor from ER. That's just a guy, a handsome dude that didn't make it till I think he was 45. I think he just sold his tequila company recently for, over $1 billion or very high millions. But that's all from building the personal brand. That's all from people getting to know you. So because I really feel like I've had the results in the space that I play, Jason, I was like, I can do this.
The personal branding thing is interesting, and I know you mentioned Grant, and it is my opinion, I don't think anybody on the planet has done a better job, at least in the American Western world, has done a better job of personal branding than Grant.
I agree.
Which love him or hate him, dude's killing it in the personal brand space. Why do you think people resist building personal brands? Because I believe everything you said about needing the personal brand behind what you do. Realtors are a great example.
Right.
Because there's 15,000 realtors in Nashville. It's more than listings are available, and they mostly suck. And if you're listing and you're a realtor in Nashville, listen, most of you guys suck. You don't provide anything, and you're not also doing personal brand. Now I happen to know some amazing realtors, and I've got some that have been on the show, so I'm not talking about them. But why do you think people resist building a personal brand?
Do you want to know the real answer?
I do.
They're scared. They're
scared of what? Scared of what? Because I don't disagree, but scared of what?
Scared of putting themselves out there. It's not strategy. It's not, I don't know what to post. That's petty. It all comes down to fear. Fear of showing themselves. Fear of revealing themselves. People have been hiding behind a business card and that photo in that billboard.
You love the realtor photos.
Yeah. Call me. I'm ready for you. I'm the guy for you with my nice beauty before Rolex. One shot. Okay, I'm done for the whole year. Personal brand done. All right, take the tie off. Let me put the flip-flops on. People are now, they're just scared, man. Our agency, we've got two models. We've got the a la carte service where you can come in and go, hey Jay, I want to, build my authority in the press or get verified on Instagram. We can make that happen, and it's a service, more of a transaction. Hey, it's like a buy this, get this. But my passion is building someone's personal brand to make them a celebrity in their way. And the first thing that comes up, right? The first, I call it vomit, comes up. I call it the vomit. Like, I need you to vomit out all your excuses right now. I tell, and these clients are people who built up companies, right? We don't work with people that are working sort of in the business and they're in the CEO grind, which usually someone that's sort of exited, right?
Exit without exiting.
Exit without exiting. The company's running without them, or they've sold the company. The money's not their motivator. Legacy is. They're like, listen, I built something. I know what I know. I want someone to help me expand it. So I asked them, okay, I want you to vomit up all your fears. What's going on? And it's always just comes down to, listen, I'm public speaking I'm terrified about. I never put myself out there, and I've never revealed myself. So I think one of the reasons why is people just have never been given the permission or shown how to do it without thinking they have to be me, right? I've come from a business where it's all about one thing, selling me. Entertainment, man. Musician, magician. I'm a showman. Me, look at me. So people think that, once again, going back to black and white, yin and yang, like the pendulum thing. Well, I don't want to be that guy, so I'm just going to be my normal self. Dude, there's a way to articulate yourself so you don't have to change you. We just have to bring the best version out of you.
Yeah.
So I think it just comes down to the feeling of showing people how to do it, and then, giving them the confidence, man.
I love that answer, and I actually shared this on another episode of the show, that there's a guy named Osho who's I don't know how long ago he lived, but he said the greatest fear to overcome for mankind is the opinion of other people
Yeah.
about you. And I butchered the quote,
Yeah.
but that,
No, I love that.
I think that's what it is. The greatest fear that we have to overcome is the other people's opinions. And I deal with it. We call it imposter syndrome. We think, hey, I'm not the guy that everybody thinks that I might be. And if that guy ever stood up and said he's not who he says he is, we all fear that. So you've built an agency to help people not only overcome that, but to capitalize on the fact that they can build a brand to serve customers better, to get success. So this is the root of all success. So let me ask you a specific question.
Right.
So how do you, Jay, define the word success?
The way I define success, I call it the word winning. I like the word winning. Winning is doing what you want, whenever you want, however you want, with whoever you want. And like being able to wake up for me and like go and create and do, dude, that's called success, because the money will come. The money's there, right? But the feeling of like creating and going and doing and traveling anytime with no rules, like prove to me I'm wrong with that. Like really, if we took all those quotes that you asked those people, like, and we put mine, let's get a vote, right? And I think it's more than freedom, because freedom, yes, we all want that, but the ability to have the power to just, I can go and do. Like that's magic, man.
So with that as a definition, do you consider yourself to be a successful person?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah.
I love the confidence there.
Yeah, I have taken a step back from, and there are so many things I could tell you more about why people don't build a personal brand. Labels are a big thing that we have to be careful about, labeling ourselves, because it puts us in a place where this is how I'm at, where I'm at and what I should be like. Stop labeling yourself, but in a way, yeah, man. Yeah,
So what's interesting about that, when I ask that almost 99.9% of guests that come on the show ask that question. And when I don't ask, it's because I forgot to ask it. It's not because I didn't want to. But when I ask the question, I get variations of the answer you gave. But I think you're right. I think most successful people see success the way you described it, but in their own language. And it's about control. It's about freedom and be able to make those having options to make choices that you want to make.
Right.
So what's also interesting about this, Jay, and this is why I actually started the show, is when I started coming into success as an entrepreneur myself over the last decade or so, I began as a student of humans, like sitting down across tables like this with people, across a cigar, dinner, whatever. How did you do what you did? And I would ask questions to find out, how did this person become so successful? And what I found and discovered was there were these 5 things that happen in every story. And at first I didn't know that. I didn't walk in thinking there's probably these 5. And I started discovering it, and I went back and I thought, okay, now I want to have a conversation. Now that I've identified that these things happen every time, I want to have conversations about those 5 things. So here's what I'd like to do. So for the remaining amount of our time, I want to dial in, and you can agree or disagree, but I want to see if these show up in your story.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Let's roll.
So the first and most important key to success, and I call them keys because it's like a key unlocking a door. If you want to be successful, there's a key, specifically 5 keys that unlock it. The first and foremost that I've discovered is passion.
Okay.
And I want to ask you about it, but I want to explain what I mean by that, because most people think passion is, I'm excited about it, I love it, I get emotion. Okay, that is agreed, that is a part of passion. But what I'm actually talking about, and what I found in everybody's success stories, it's the mental side of passion, not the emotional side. And here's what I mean. Passion, the word, actually means willing to endure. If you go back and look at the etymology of the word. So for example, and I use this example a lot, when we call it the Passion of the Christ, when the last week that Jesus was alive and went to the cross, we call that the Passion Week. And I always wondered, and I was a pastor, and I never knew, he doesn't seem excited about this.
Right.
There's not a lot of excitement.
Right.
Well, then when I discovered that the word passion actually means willing to endure for a cause, I
Changes
thought,
everything.
whoa.
Right? Yeah.
So what I discovered, Jay, is that in every entrepreneur's story, that's the first key they used to unlock the door of success, is that they were willing to endure for the thing that they were building, and that's what helped lead them. So with that as my pitch on what passion is the first key, do you agree? And if so, where did that happen in your story becoming successful?
So I agree. I don't know if it's the first thing that I would if you asked me this without telling me where you started, I don't know if passion would come up, but I love the way that you said enduro, because when I traveled to so many countries, yes, I love traveling, but I was trying to find out who I was. And I've done more things than magic. I ran a nightclub. I, worked for a digital media agency. Like, I was trying to find who I was. So in a way, but I've always known, like, I'm gonna do this. Like, there's more. But enduring that rejection throughout those multiple years, right? Dealing with, like, people not understanding me, people, like, not feeling like I'm connecting with people as much as I can connect with people, but not really deep down in my soul. The ability to push through and dealing with no money for a long time, right? Ups and downs of the entertainment industry, ups and downs of anything, and not having a clear path. It sucks, man. It really sucks. Because a lot of people, they know how much they're making, what are they doing next year? People are like, what are you doing in January? Dude, I don't know what sometimes I was doing next week or tomorrow. And that's extremely taxing on me. So the ability to endure is the conditioning of that is very powerful if someone can learn it from a young age. I've been doing it for so long, and to move on forward with what you're saying, when the pandemic happened and someone was like, man, how are you so calm with this? Right? I said, dude, this isn't the first time I've been without a job and no money. This is another day for me, bro. Like, it's fine. Like, this is not a problem for me. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen. So that ability to, like, withstand, and I like the word condition, because I think, like, just, dude, like, is this all you got for me today? So I like that, man. The passion to endure.
I think, a lot of people would call that perseverance, but I think it's more than perseverance. I think passion, as described the way I described, is a little different than perseverance. But I also don't discount the fact that you got to enjoy what it is that you do. But I think the bad advice that so many want to be entrepreneur mentors tell young people who want to be entrepreneurs, man, just find something you really like and do that. Well, there's so many broke people who tried to do business and what they liked, and it didn't work.
Dude, how many singers are on the street and no one knows them, and they're broke?
How many magicians tried it?
How many magicians that are broke? How many dancers? You know how many people in LA that are incredible dancers? How many actors that are still trying to make it because they love it? Dude, something isn't working, right? How can we take you, build you up, maybe bring in another piece of revenue? How do we put you in a higher place? Like, I get it, man.
Well, that's why I believe that there's 5 keys, because if it ain't just one, it takes more than one. So passion is the first one, and they all start with P, by the way. So it's helped. Right. As an old pastor, I got to do alliteration. I got to go. Yeah. I have no poems.
Dude, I have mine. I have my 4 C's.
Yeah, we all got to have that. Yeah. So the second key that I found in everybody's story is being at the right place at the right time, and this is where. People perceive it as luck, and sure, there are times when luck happens, but I found that the harder I work, the luckier I get. The more places I put myself in, the more right places I end up being in.
That's a good way to look at it.
And so with you, was there a right place at the right time that made you go to that next level, that pushed you towards success?
No.
Never?
I don't know if it's just my ego not allowing to say someone like that, because how do I answer this correctly? I feel like there are times in life, and I can't be like, that was the time. There are opportunities like that the universe, the big man upstairs, whoever, whatever you believe, just goes, here's one, here's another. And I think it's the ability to say yes and just know from your gut whether to jump in. I've been in a lot of countries, a lot of places, man, and I push the countries thing a lot, because when you're in different countries, you're with different cultures and different mentalities. And I'm not hanging out with like my age people who are like everything, every place I've been to, I was there in San Francisco when Uber was just coming out, right? When like the tech guys were all just these 22-year-olds making 40 mil with like, and not knowing what to do, to like sitting on the street with $1 soup in Vietnam, like watching like the guys go home with the girls, like, you know, just like, it was just a fascinating thing to understand. And so I've been in these situations, but like, there's going to be opportunities, and you got to just take them. I don't know if I'm giving you the perfect answer.
Well, let me tell you why I think that there is a right place and right time for you, and I'm going to tell you based on what I've heard about your story.
Okay.
So you are in the personal branding space.
Right.
That is your thing.
Right.
If you go back 10 years, that doesn't work, because personal brand, well, maybe 15. Let's go back to when personal branding. So if you said, hey, I'm a magician, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to start a PR agency, I want to do this 15 years ago, the personal branding is not a big deal 15 years ago. Now it's the perfect time, the perfect place in America.
True.
So I think that there is, whether or not it's a huge key, I think it's part of the story, right?
Yeah.
So.
If you said to me 15 years ago that I'm going to have a PR agency, I'd be like, what is PR?
Yeah, per?
Yeah.
What is per?
Well, a PR agency? Dude, I'm the star. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's so.
Well, let's talk about the third key. So you got passion, you got being in the right place at the right time. The third key to success that I found is that every successful entrepreneur has people, the right person that helped catapult them. Now, it could be a negative influence or a positive influence, or it could be multiples of either side of that. But can you think back in your life as an entrepreneur and how you were able to succeed, not only as a magician, but the other things you've done, nightclubs and the digital agency, and now your own agency and PR agency? Is there a person or persons, you don't have to name them, but are there a person or persons you can say, man, if I hadn't met that person, or if I hadn't been at this event where he or she was, I don't know that my story would have turned out the same way.
Yeah, I'm like this. So people are everything. People have everything you need, right? And throughout the adventures and the stories, there have been people in my life that, and you know, maybe this is where the number 2 comes in, right? I'm always a big fan of backtracking on how I got to like know you. And it's like, that person from that person, that person. When I first came to America, there was a guy named David Kang, and he really helped me get my feet in LA. He was a big casting director. We became great friends, and he helped me out with some money at the time too. Like, he was there as my backbone. But I got introduced to him by knowing a colleague of his in Vietnam, and I was in a nightclub at the time, and I met her, and I just put myself out there and met up with her for lunch and got to know her. And she's like, you got to talk to my friend, that person who's going to help you get to America. So that was a catalyst for me. So there have been people in my life that I think it's never been the first person. I've never met that one guy who's like, I'm going to help you. It's always, you're going to meet this person, and it just has helped me blossom in multiple different things. Yeah. And I've never gone and knocked and asked for it. Like, hey, I'm looking for a coach. I'm looking for this person. I think for me, Jason, my strategy is I just met so many people, and some people stick and some people don't stick. And it's like, even me saying this right now, like, there's probably hundreds of thousands of people I've met, but like, there's only been a few that stick. And isn't that interesting? Like, you've got to meet a lot of people to meet the right ones, you know? And I think sometimes we get caught up on like, man, I can't find anyone. Like, dude, I know it's classic, but like, go meet more people. Like, you know, they don't like me. Like, dude, there's like 8 billion people in the world. And it's interesting, now I'm present to what, you know, I'm thinking of all the people that I met, but like, man, there's a lot of people I met that like, just being like, hi, nice to meet you. Like, or like, I've got on my phone book, I'm like, dude, I never spoke to him again, you know? So yeah, I think it's been through one or two people, but yeah.
So that's also why I'm so glad to do this show, because I get to meet amazing people, and I'm honored really that you came here to do this.
100%.
Because when I picked you up at the hotel last night, we were talking, and we're like, how did we originally meet, and how we get connected to people? Because who knows where this is going to lead? We don't know. There might be somebody listening now that says about you, I need to know this guy, and then his or her life is going to take off, and you're going to get more opportunities, and I'm going to get more. knowing the right people is such a great key. So we got passion, we got being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right people. So the last two I'm going to kind of put together, but I have a theory about your story that I want to see what you say first before I share.
Okay.
But the fourth one is preparation.
Okay.
It's having the know-how to pull off the thing. So for example, I'm not prepared to be successful in political science or to be successful in a PR firm.
Yeah.
Like I'm not prepared for that because I don't have the background.
Yeah.
I think people who are successful had the preparation, and it's the 10,000 hour rule that Malcolm Gladwell talked about.
Yeah.
And you have that 10,000 hour rule, being on stage, being in front of people, understand the personal brand. I think that's what yours is. I'll give you the opportunity to respond, but I'm going to talk about the fifth one, and we'll put them together. Fifth one's plan, and it's the financial capital. Like, do you have the plan to financially capitalize the thing that you're doing? Because it takes money to make it. And so some people are like, I had no plan at all, but it worked. So I'm gonna hear your story of where preparation and plan played into Jay being so successful, not only as a magician, but now as the Ace of Spades agency.
Okay, so preparation, 1,000%, right? Like, and because I remember clearly sitting in my room, taking a pack of cards, and like practicing how to hold them for 2 months. Because if I give you a pack of cards and you hold them like this. How do you hold them like a magician? So when you deal, the cards are just like, it's magic. That took me 2 months just to get your fingers and your brain to connect and just to find the increments of how to make it look good. To fan out a pack of cards took me 6 months. 6 months. Dropping the cards over and over. To flick a card out and catch it, 3 months. Like, so I understand that preparation element so much. And when you're so involved in it and you're like, I'm gonna make this work, that's all you do. That's all you have, because with a magic trick, it's very clearly to be seen if you're a good magician or a bad magician, right? It's like someone who deals at cards. Like, if you ever been in the casino, like that guy's been dealing for a while. He's done it so long. So the preparation before getting on stage or doing a magic trick, my analogy was get in the deep end though. I will learn very quickly by putting myself in a place where I'm going to learn fast. I don't tippy-toe my way into something. It's like I'll jump in the deep end and drown a little bit. Because when I drown, I'm like, because that's reality for me. Like, I'm not going to get on a stage and sort of burn, you know what I mean? Because, oh, wow, I really need a lot of work. But then the conditioning, right? Coming back to what I said before, I'm conditioned myself. So getting to that place, people ask me, like, how are you so comfortable on stage and you can captivate a room? Dude, I've been doing it since I was like 14. Like, multiple stages. I'm 33 now, right? If you're doing that constantly 2 or 3 gigs a week, like, it's supposed to look easy now. Like, how maybe, and I'm just speaking my mind, maybe the agency has done so well because the way I position, maybe it's been 16 years of preparation, right? 16 years. Magic to me was like my sword, like I'm a soldier. TV hosting was my hat. Running a nightclub and how to manage people was my other armor. Speaking on stage was my ankle brace. Maybe I'm just like an elite soldier now, that it's taking me 16 years to eventually play in different battles. That's not working. I'm not working out, and now I'm in the right arena, like the gladiator, and I'm like this ultimate super soldier.
Yeah.
So anything next.
That preparation is so important. And that's why I think if you take that preparation key and put it against or juxtapose it against passion,
right.
That's why so many people fail, because they follow what they enjoy as what they call passion, but they aren't prepared to succeed in it. That's why they fail. Yeah. Now if you put those together, oh, okay, now we're talking a different thing. So your preparation was in 10,000 hours of doing card tricks, 10,000 hours of being on stage, 10,000 hours of shaking hands and kissing babies.
But Jason, the thing of what I'm interesting now, I think it accumulates. Yes, the skill set of magic tricks is one thing, but there's also a skill set of people.
Absolutely.
People, like, there's multiple different skill sets. Like, how do you walk into a room and get everybody to know you? How do you walk into a room and learn how to shake someone's hand so they take you seriously? That's a skill set. So I think what I was doing is I was learning mini skill sets in one, because no one really goes out to like how to work a room course. You probably could now, maybe in 2022, but like you start to learn all these skills, and I think it stacks. I think it's a stack thing. Like you just boom, 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 boom. And then you just, after so many years, right, it's like, yeah.
Have you ever read the book, The Charisma Myth?
No.
Oh, you should read that.
Okay.
When you were just talking about the skill of shaking hands, her book, Cobain, I think is her last name, and I don't think she's an entrepreneur, but she's an author and very good. This book is really good. But the Charisma Myth is all about the myth of what charisma actually is. It's really power, presence, and warmth. Okay. That's her theory. It's really good. But she has a whole section on presence and warmth and how handshakes can either help with that or detract from it. And I promise you, when you go read it because of what you do, you're going to love it. And I don't get paid for her to telling her about her book, but go read it because what she talks about and how to connect with people. When I read that, I started practicing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I went to this event at a colleague that you and I both know. I went to an event and there were some pretty high level people there. And I just read it and had been practicing this presence thing with a handshake. And I went to these people, these high-level people that don't know me from Adam, and two of them that day, without me asking, said, hey, take my cell phone number, call me anytime you need something.
Wow.
And it's like, holy crap, this stuff works.
Wow.
There's so much to what you're doing that I think people discount. They think, why would I need to pay a guy to tell everybody that I'm good?
Right.
There are subtle things that you can learn, and I think you prepared yourself as a magician. That's why your agency is going to be so successful long term, because you prepared yourself for that. Now, what about the plan? How did you figure out how to deploy the financial capital to make this work?
Dude.
Let's get real.
Dude, come on, man. Like, listen, look, and you know what? Like, one thing I want to share with everybody, what I just did, voice the obvious. Dude, that label of being broke, and I'm still sometimes broke, you know what I mean? Like really, like there's so much more money to make, and I've got so many more things to do. Voice that, it's okay, laugh. Like that's a charisma thing. Bring out your insecurities before the next person does. This is a PR, I'm giving you like an educational lesson and an advice lesson.
We love
strategy.
it on the root of all success.
Like bring out your insecurities first, then no one can sting you later. Bring up, hey man, listen, I know I'm tall, I know I got some weight on me, you know what I mean? Or, hey, you know what, I know I talk a lot, I know I'm loud. Oh, okay, he already knows that, okay, well, cool, like he's cool, like he's down to earth, he's real. So, yeah, man, I was broke for nearly my whole life, you know what I mean? Like, because I wasn't taught, you know, how to do the money thing, you know? And I feel like, I think so many people still aren't, you know, right? And it bothered me a lot too, because, you know, it's very hard not to see what other people are doing sometimes, because we are just observers and we're feelers and, you know, wow, he's got a boat or he's got this car and, you know, this 22-year-old's like driving and flying first class. Like, why not me, you know? But I always realize those people's stories aren't mine, you know? That's their page and their chapter. I'm writing my own book, you know? Dude, I'm writing my own novel, right? And it's okay.
Well, you figured it out though. In spite of being broke, you've built a very successful personal brand. You've built, I mean, 57 million views on YouTube is no slouch. 1 million people following you on Instagram, no slouch. Yeah. And now you've got a branding agency, PR agency that's working with some really amazing talent.
Yeah.
Like you were able to figure that out somehow.
Yeah. Right? And you know what, man, maybe like there's so many different ways for me to go, maybe why was I not making money or broke for a long time? Could it have been I didn't stick to one thing? Probably. Was it because I wasn't with the right people? Maybe. Was it because I didn't have the right preparation? Maybe the right plan? Maybe all those things. But like the one thing I always tell people, it's like, I remember, you know, John Mayer, he said he woke up one day and he wanted to sing and play guitar. And that he goes, man, that's what I'm good at. For me, that wasn't the story. I didn't wake up one day and I want to be a magician and the biggest magician of all time. That's not how my brain took it. So I tell people, like, listen, if one thing isn't working, maybe someone's listening right now and it's like, if it's not working, it's okay. No one told you had to stick in that occupation. And I think now, Jason, with 2022, where things are going, like, There's no rules anymore. You notice that? Yeah, you know how cool that is? That you can literally, like, I was a pastor for 15 years. I am going to run a hot dog stand. Do it. Let's roll. I'm going to be the orange juice guy that when you come through the 95, I'm going to sell you $5 orange juices. I'm going to make millions of dollars. Do it, dude. Like, I think people have to understand that there is no rules. And when you're blocked, ask yourself this. Who's telling yourself that? I'm shy. I'm an introvert. No one's going to help me. I don't have, you know who's telling yourself that? Yourself, man. You're telling yourself of why you're at where you're at. Like, I'm big to like shake people out of their own kind of psyche sometimes. Like, Braden, who's telling you that? And the pin will drop and they go, I told myself that. And they're like, and they can listen to their own like, oh shit. You know?
That's really, really good, Jay. Well, let me ask you to give some advice.
Right.
So listeners to this show are mostly entrepreneurs, and they are on the whole spectrum. We've got, billionaire entrepreneurs. We got all the way down to people that haven't even started their business yet. They're still W-2 employees. They're trying to figure things out. Yeah. And then there's people in between. They're building, growing, scaling, whatever. But I want you to think. Let's go to the startups guy, right. The girl out there that hasn't yet gotten going. They're a little afraid, just like you were when you started, like I was when I started. I want you now, out of your years of success, decades of success as an entrepreneur, now building an amazing agency at Ace of Spades, what would you tell that person about getting started? What would you say if they're like, I don't know what to do? What would you say to that person?
Don't freeze. Don't stay and stick stagnant, right? Because when you stick stagnant, nothing happens. Move. Every time I've always been in a position where I didn't know my next move, Jason, I said the way for myself to get out of this is action. Because, like, I don't know. Like, it's not like I've been taught to, like, go. I didn't know to get a coach. I didn't have the financial resources. I didn't, when I'm going to sit in my room and prepare, then I'll go out to the market. Like, dude, I'm just going to start doing what I can do. Go using my mouth, speak and sell. Go and talk to some people. Right?
Action.
And take some action. And, like, for everybody listening, because when I know what happens when guests share things are going to come up, as I mentioned. It's going to evoke some emotion inside of people. You know what's going to come up? I don't know who to call, right? I don't know what to say. I don't want to look like a fool. My ego, okay, cool, man, awesome. What else you got? Start calling people. Hey, man, listen, this is what's up. Can you help me? That word, can you help me, is a very powerful word. In sales, in magic, in just everything. Hey, can you help me?
People want to help each other.
Most people, no, dude. And who's going to say that? If you come with authenticity, hey, Jason, listen, this is where I'm at. I know we just met, or I know you for a while. Can you help me? What do you need, Joe? That they may give you one thing that could literally change the trajectory of everything. And maybe you just need to get through that next level. I just feel like even for me, like we get caught up in our own head. We think no one's out to help us. Dude, it's like there are people there. So I would say to anyone who's in a position, whether you're doing $1 a day or $1 million a day, we're at our own problems, right? Like go ask people for help.
Yeah, I love that. So let's finish our conversation by letting people know how to get in touch with you. So your Instagram game is amazing. We've got people so what's your Instagram handle?
Yeah, check me out JJ Live at JAYJAYLIVE. You'll see the show and the fun and but this is me though, man, and I appreciate you saying like I'm actually a lot deeper than people think. And I know there's a facade, and listen, it's in show business. Yeah. You got to have a bit of a sizzle, but deep down, I truly do care, and people are my purpose. Yeah. Like the PR agency won't be forever. I know it, but it's a catalyst to maybe what I'm trying to move people to, like transforming.
So Jay Live
LIVE.
JJ Live on Instagram. And what about Ace of Spades? How would people get in touch with Ace of Spades?
Yeah, aceofspadesagency.com. Like if people are listening and go, listen, I'm resonating with this guy. I know I need people. I know I've got something inside of me, my message in my heart, in my head, my business that I want to tell everybody. Like I need some attention. I need some awareness. I need to get on TV. I need to build my social media. Like, most people know they need to do it. They just need someone in their corner to help them get there.
Yeah, well, Jay, it's been an honor, man. I'm so happy that we connected.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
I'm even more happy that you wanted to be on the show when my team reached out. Like, yeah, we need to get this guy on the show.
It's like done.
And then you came here to Nashville. You flew in, and we had a great time last night here at the Standard, having dinner and drinks. And it was fantastic to talk to you today on the show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, there you have it. Another successful entrepreneur who shared his perspective of these keys of success, and what his definition of success is really kind of the same thing that you hear in and out every single week on this show, which tells you that your definition of success should match these folks. Because if you're thinking about anything different, money, wealth, greed, bigger boats, that's not what success is. Now, it might be a piece to what you're trying to accomplish, but it's not that. It's about having control, having freedom, having the options to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with whom you want, whenever you want. I love what Jay said about that. And so make sure to go play this back. Go back and listen to what he said about that definition of success. If you want to be successful, these keys unlock that door of success for everybody, not just Jay, not just me, not just anybody else that's been on the show. You can use those keys too. So if I handed you a key to my house, that key works the door. And if you just go use it, you get in. These keys on this show that we talk about on The Root of All Success will unlock success for you. Passion, being in the right place at the right time, knowing the right people, being prepared, and having a good plan to make it happen. If you are an entrepreneur and you aren't being successful, you're not using the right keys. That's what this show is about. So make sure you go use the keys. Now, let me tell you and invite you to something. So he mentioned it a little bit. We actually had a little funny interchange in the middle of our talk today about exit without exiting. And I know that my listeners who listen all the time know that. Like, I'm the guy that teaches you how to exit without exiting. And what does that mean? Well, it means you can exit your business without selling it. You don't have to go through that liquidation event and then figure out what in the world to do next. What if you could build a business that you didn't have to sell, but you also didn't have to work in every day? The operator is not what you want to be. You want to be the owner investor. Well, that's what I teach as a coach every single day. And I've got an Exit Accelerator group coaching platform that I run through 12 weeks, and we meet live 8 times. If you are interested in doing that as a listener to the show, you get a special discount. Go to exitwithoutexiting.com. You can read all about it, look at it, and if you will send me a DM on either LinkedIn or Instagram at @TheRealJasonDuncan and say, hey, I heard the show, and even if you mention Jay, that'd be awesome too. I heard the show with you and Jay. I want that discount, and I will send you a discount coupon code to take $500 off of that course. You can do that with me. It's live coaching. Learn how to exit without exiting. Learn how to live the exit lifestyle. Well, tune in again next time when we talk with yet another amazingly successful entrepreneur like Jay about his or her journey to success, and learn how they use these keys and applied that. Until then, I'm the real Jason Duncan, and Jesus is King.
Thank you for listening to another edition of The Root of All Success with the real Jason Duncan. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, we invite you to visit therootofallsuccess.com to access the show notes and other helpful resources. Take charge of your business. Grow it from great to incredible. Join us again next time here on The Root of All Success.